My name is Joesph Taylor, and I am a writer.
What is your everyday routine as a writer? Do you have a set ritual or schedule that helps you with your creative process?
Well, like any writer, I get up early in the morning and have a healthy breakfast. It's important to me that my mind, soul, and body remain pure. It keeps the creative juices flowing. Being consistent in an everyday routine allows my mind to wander because I'm so used to it. I can do it without thinking about it. It's kind of like that film, Groundhog Day, with Bill Murray. This is where the magic happens. Every writer has a sanctuary. This one is mine. Bloody update.
At what point in your life did you feel that you wanted to become a writer?
Whenever I was little, I would use writing to get away from it all, whether it be my parents arguing or there was nothing on TV. I would go to my room and just write. It's a form of escapism for me, and I got lost in it. It didn't have to be good, didn't have to make sense, didn't even have to be words. I hate this park. To be a writer, one has to venture to dark places in their mind, to remember things they'd rather forget, or to see things they'd rather not. This is where my first girlfriend and I broke up. It was tough for her, but I had to do it. I loved her, but I loved writing even more. To be a writer, one has to know pain like no other. And so you can see why I had to dump her. And that's what inspired me to write my book. A boy and his dog.
Were you always intending for your target audience to be children?
Well, you see, writing for children is more difficult than one might think. Going back to what I said about dark places, children know that better than anyone. They deal with bullying, divorce, peer pressure, pets dying, and war.
Your first book, A Boy and His Dog, is about a boy who gets lost in the woods with his dog. Does this story come from personal experience? Is it relevant to your past, or is it just a story and nothing more?
Yes and yes. You see, the boy wants to go further into the woods, but his dog doesn't want him to go in. The boy ignores his pet, and they inevitably get lost. The dog represents the child within us all, wanting to stay in its comfort zone and not grow up. The child in the story represents the adult within us, wanting to move forward in life and getting lost along the way. The woods represent the hazy world of adult life, and the trees represent stability.
Was there a deeper meaning as to why the boy died at the end of the story?
Well, the woods is a dangerous place. I never wanted to be a writer, you know. I was no good at English at school, but I didn't let that stop me. Hell, I couldn't have stopped me if I wanted to. Really, if anything, I didn't have a choice.
Would you say you're nervous about giving this talk?
Talking to students is just like talking to normal people. Thanks for the lift, by the way.
Please welcome Joesph Taylor.
Please take this as a token of my appreciation.
Thank you.
It's a signed copy. Now, who can tell me what this is? I'll tell you what it is. It's a symbol of nationalist socialism, originating in pre-World War II Germany. A symbol of hatred, white supremacy, division. However, if we draw it this way, it means the exact opposite. symbol of love, equality, and unity. But they are the exact same symbol, drawn from different perspectives. Finding new meaning in things is how ideas are born. My book, A Boy and His Dog, shows exactly that. You may not have noticed these themes or symbols in the book directly, but they are there. This conflict is essential to all good stories. Good and evil, hero and villain, life and death. When this meets this, you just birthed a top novel. Any questions? I'll take one. You with the moustache.
How would you respond to critics of your work who have pointed out similarities between your book, A Boy and His Dog, and the German novel Ein Junge und sein Hund, written by Oscar Weber, but 14 years prior to yours?
You see, ladies and gentlemen, perfect example of what I was trying to explain. Perspective. While our stories share similar concepts and have the same ending, they are different journeys with different morality, different depth. Plus, in my book, the dog can talk. So, to anyone who says our stories are similar, I would suggest they haven't read them from the right angle. I'm done.
Joesph Taylor, everybody.
No applauding says it all, really. They were in awe back there. They really learned something today.
You've told us your routine, but at which point in the day do you actually start the writing process?
I'm like a predator in the night, but instead of hunting for a delicious morsel, I'm hunting for ideas. I guess you could say I'm like a night bat.
Okay, but when do you actually write? You've told us where your inspirations come from, but what point do you actually put pen to paper?
Most often I use a laptop.
No, I think you know what I mean. When do you actually begin writing, putting words on paper or laptop?
Well, when I wrote A Boy and His Dog,
Well, I mean in general. Do you have any ideas for a new book, or are you currently writing a new one?
I don't really like to discuss my projects until they're completed.
Okay. What advice would you give to aspiring writers? Joseph?
Don't let it control your life. If you have an idea, let it come naturally. If you try to force something, it will never be what you hoped.
What would you say makes you different from other writers?
Other writers write. I don't do that. I create.